The 86th edition of the Roy's Boys podcast starts right now.
And ready on his second attempt. That one is no good. They battle for it. Loose ball. Recovered Marvin. He scores. Pushes into Hubert Davis. 8 seconds. Davis trying to get free. Over to Fox. Fox, baseline. Up for the shot. Good. Off the glass. Oklahoma calls timeout. But the game is over. The game is over. Carolina has upset number 1 Oklahoma.
With 20 seconds left to play. Goes back to Michael Jordan. Jumper from out on the left. Good. 63-62. 13, 12, 11. Georgetown with one timeout. Fred Brown looking. Oh, way to Worthy. Worthy 5. The Tar Heels are going to win the national championship.
Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. Weber front court. Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul. Brown gets it into Williams. Here comes Williams front court. Williams on the drive. Gets it back out the head. Long outside shot. Short rebounded. There. It's over. Carolina has won the national championship. How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
That's it! Make room for 2017. The Tar Heels are the national dadgum champions.
This is the Roy's Boys podcast with your host, Joshua Marlowe.
Head basketball coach at North Carolina did a sorry-ass job tonight.
And with that, we're going to welcome you into another edition of the Roy's Boys podcast, powered by Carolina Electrical Services. Immediately reaction following Carolina 74-49. Yes, that score is correct, folks. 74-49, home loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes tonight in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And there's so many areas where we can dissect this loss, and that's what we're about to do. Quite frankly, Carolina completely overmatched on the interior, got bullied all night long. They got punked in the paint by Ohio State, and they never matched the competitive spirit of what Ohio State came in with and played with. And no matter if Armando Bacot stayed healthy, who left early in the first half with an ankle injury, Carolina was never going to win this ball game.
I am physically sick to my stomach right now. I physically don't feel well. This team makes me want to throw up with their pathetic ass performance. I will bleep that out in the podcast. I don't even care. That was one of the worst efforts that I have ever seen from Not even just Carolina basketball, Carolina athletics in general. Terrible performance from everybody on the team. Certain Blue Squad members stepped up when they came in the first time. Everybody else, you know who you are. You're looking at yourself right now and realizing that was one of the worst efforts that you've given in your entire life. Absolutely awful. And to hear the head coach of the Tar Heels say in the press conference after the game, he has no answers, that tells you where this team is at right now. I am not saying, look, I may be wrong on this at the end of the year. I really hope I am, and I have to come back with my tail tucked between my legs looking like a moron. This is different than in past years. This team does not... There are legitimate reasons to be very, very concerned about this offense. Because this team, I've said it, they can't shoot. I'm going to go further. This team sucks at shooting. They are horrible. It is god-awful. The worst home loss under Roy Williams in the Smith Center. This is... I almost don't even have words for what I just saw. That was not Carolina basketball. I don't know what the hell that was, but I never want to see what that was again. because they could not have when you say they could not have thrown the ball into the ocean, they literally would have thrown it onto the beach and missed the ocean tonight. That was horrid on the offensive end.
Tonight's performance completely justifies my freak out I had 2 weeks ago after the Elon game, where I sat in my room after the win and I was frustrated more so than I've ever been in an early season win against a mid-major, probably in my entire Carolina Tar Heel fandom, which dates back to the 6th grade. Frustrated, here's the thing. If you and I are frustrated, and Tar Heel Twitter is frustrated...
Well, they're always frustrated, so let's just kind of,
How do you think the players feel?
Oh, of course.
And then how do you think the guy that, for some reason, isn't getting through to them, how does it make him feel?
Yeah, at this point...
And tonight was... I don't know. I convinced myself earlier in the day they're going to find a way to win because that's what they do in these kind of situations. I didn't think they're better than Ohio State. I said that when we previewed the game. I think right now Ohio State's a better team. That's probably a top 5 team in college basketball right now with what they were able to do. And they've done this now twice to blue blood programs, including Villanova earlier in the season. They're legit. Carolina is not the 7th best team in college basketball. They're probably not the 7th best team in the ACC right now.
Ooh. And that's pretty bold.
That's okay. It's December, but it doesn't get easier. You got to turn around and Sunday go to Charlottesville and play Virginia, who, all by the way, lost by 29 tonight at Purdue. You get a week off and you get Wofford at home. Wofford beat you in your own building 3 years ago. You follow that up, then you got to go to Gonzaga. You leave Gonzaga, you go to Vegas and play UCLA. Snowball effect is a legitimate possibility here with Armando Bacot possibly being on the pine for the foreseeable future. You're still without Sterling Manley. Anthony Harris is dressed, but you don't know when he's going to play. And now you're talking about a team that was already thin. I mean, you're now going to ask Walker Miller and Brandon Huffman not only to give you 4 to 6 minutes of action, they've got to contribute because you're not getting anything productive consistently from Justin Pierce, from Christian Keeling. Leaky Black tonight on the floor, liability.
One of the worst offensive games I think I've ever seen from a Carolina player. And not feeling a shot, still continued to shoot over and over and over again.
You're asking a guy in Cole Anthony who is as gifted as anybody to do it all. And it's not going to happen. Kobe White, as good as Kobe White was last year, couldn't carry Carolina through what they're going through right now. And I think when we talked all these years, we can't get one and done kind of talent.
I don't want one and done talent.
Do you see why there's a portion of us that didn't mind the 3 and 4 star players that were going to give us 3 or 4 years? Yeah. We're not built for this. Roy Williams isn't the kind of coach that is built to run his program like that, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. You talked about the guys that are going to have to step up inside. Justin Pierce now has to step up, play a massive role. There's we need something. No, you need more than something. You need to be very legit, or else this front court is in huge trouble. Because
Pierce and
Brandon
Keeling,
Huffman does not have the talent. No offense. Neither does Walker Miller. And guess what? That's okay. The good news is they have the want to be at least effective enough to hold down a few minutes on the floor. Justin Pierce, now is your time. You have got to step up. I'm going to tell you, there were moments tonight where he showed some things that were encouraging. He's got to make that more consistent. Plain and simple going forward. Because now it's not that we want you to, we need you to. You've got no choice. You have got no choice, especially if Armando is not going to be able to play for a while. Because Sterling Manley is nowhere close to walking back through those doors to help you out. Sorry, guys. It's not happening. Hate to tell you. And, I mean, at this point, what are you going to do? You going to have Leaky Black play the 4 and go that small? That doesn't seem like that's going to be successful for you. So, yeah, it's up to Justin Pierce to step up. Whether he can, we'll see. I'm not saying that he can't, but so far early in the year, he hasn't been all that great. Let's see that change starting now.
Dave, and I mean by they, I mean Pierce and Keeling, they've got to prove why Roy Williams gave them a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to prove that they deserve the right to put that jersey on. Because right now, and this mainly goes for Christian Keeling, he doesn't deserve to see the floor. I have never seen a guy to be a senior and coming off doing some pretty good work last year. I know it was at Charleston Southern, but the kid produced. And this guy is a shell of himself. He can't even dribble the ball up the floor without almost dribbling out of bounds. He finally made a jump shot today, but then he goes down on the other end and doesn't play any defense.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you know,
I mean, earlier in the season, I compared him to the Nate Britt of the years when Nate Britt was on the floor. Nah, this is Larry Drew type badness.
Oof.
He is that bad right now.
Okay, I'm not really gonna comment on that because I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, out of the two, like I said, Pierce has been the better of the two. Tonight just continued to show that to me. I thought Keeling had some moments defensively. Shows some decent effort on the defensive end. Let's be real honest. It was not just him. There were a couple times transition defense wise.
They just quit.
Just awful. Oh man. And I mean, at this point, I just I don't even know what to say when it comes to. I mean, the half court offense is just terrible. The thing is. This team has to get out and run if they're going to win games. I mean, that's the only way that they're going to put points on the board because in the half-court offense, it's just not there.
And it's limited
not going
because
inside enough. Not your shot choices are just terrible. Shot selection is as bad as I think I have ever seen it for this Tar Heel team. And part of that is because one of the things I've been highlighting early in the year. No movement without the ball. To get the ball, you need to move without the ball. You cannot stand there and just watch and hope you get the basketball. That is not going to do anything. Move when you don't have the ball in your hands to free yourself up. I don't know what is so hard to because they just have not been able to do that early in the season. I mean, look, we're guys that, we're armchair quarterbacks when it comes to this. But right now, we cannot be the only people seeing this. And we cannot be the only people that are frustrated with this. Something has to change.
Yeah, no, there's no movement. There's no energy. I thought about this during the game. Roy Williams is not the kind of coach that wants to dictate what they do every time down the floor. He's very much of a freedom coach. He lets the guys play. That's got to be something that he's got to just start. Literally, it's like in football when they get the ball across the timeline, you look at him and you let him call a set.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's worked in the past where. You've just been able to let your guys go and do their own thing, set themselves up. And here's the other thing. It's not on Cole. Okay, I mean the shooting numbers are not great, 4 of 15, but I think we're seeing that he's not a guy that really at the NBA level needs to be an isolation point guard that just tries to take over every game. That's really just not his game.